Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here on the channel. My name is TannerFishies. In today's video, we are going to be discussing and comparing all four of the Ninjago Morro minifigures that have been released so far as of January 2025. From left to right, we have the original Morro seen in the Airjitzu line. Next to that, we have the Morro that was seen in some of the more higher-end Ninjago Season 5 sets from 2015 with the cape. Pretty much the exact same thing as the first variation, but this one has a cape. Fancy. Next, we have the possessed Lloyd, aka Morro possessing Lloyd's body. Not sure if that counts as a Morro minifigure or a Lloyd minifigure first, but I figured I might as well include it with this comparison. And finally, on the end here, we have ourselves the most recent Morro as of the time of recording this video. This one is the Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 3 Morro, debuting in 2025 in the Dragonian Storm Village set. Presumably that means that Morro will be in Dragons Rising Season 3, making a comeback to the Ninjago series, having last been seen at least fully in Ninjago Day of the Departed, almost 10 years ago. So it's kind of a big deal that Morro now has a new minifigure, and since he does, like I said, I thought it could be fun to compare all of the previous versions of Morro to the new guy to see how the new one stacks up to the previous renditions of this popular Ninjago character. So without further ado, let's get to it. So starting things off here on the left, we have the original Morro as seen in the Morro Airjitzu flyer from Ninjago 2015 Possession 10 years ago. And on the right, we have the new Morro from Dragons Rising Season 3 or the year of 2025. Just doing a really quick comparison between these two because these two can kind of be considered to be the main versions of Morro, I guess. Morro in Dragons Rising has a very similar shape going on, except now he has armor. And there are a few other differences too. One of the very obvious differences, in my opinion, is that the new one does not have any transparent legs. Those legs are very solid, not transparent or see-through at all. Same thing with the face. The face on the new Morro is actually not transparent. Taking some stuff off, the comparison is even more, I guess, it just kind of depends on what you prefer. Do you prefer the more transparent, ghostly Morro? You would probably want this guy. If you don't, you might prefer this guy. I will say both have similar back printing with some symbols on there, so I guess that's awesome to note. Also, this Morro, again, does have an alternate face. I think that one looks pretty good, almost like Morro is possessing someone or whatever. But overall, the printing quality, it's the same. I think overall both of these are made equally well. It just is a matter of what you would prefer. Also, I will say on this one, Morro does look a little bit older in the face. Again, possibly suggesting that Morro has aged a little bit since we last saw him, so that's exciting to see. Otherwise, these two, they kind of go for the same vibe, though, again, it's just kind of a matter of what you prefer. More transparent parts or less transparent parts. And putting everything back on here, as you can see, the only transparent thing about the new Morro is the one arm, which is only transparent but partially. It's not transparent in the hand, nor is anything else on the new Morro transparent, which, suggests some stuff to me about the storyline of Dragons Rising Season 3 and Morro, like maybe Morro is only partially departed now, since the departed realm has merged with every other realm. I've already talked about that in quite a few videos before, but in terms of which one I think is better, the original or the new one, that's kind of hard to say, because the new one pretty much does what the original one did, except expands on it. I guess if you're a less is more kind of person, maybe you would prefer this Morro, though I do say that this one over here, yeah, I gotta say, it's a little bit better in my opinion. Maybe it's just recency bias or whatever. I will say as well, if you're a fan of more transparent parts, this guy is definitely more so the way to go. But again, there might be a reason why this Morro is not super transparent. Maybe he's not necessarily a ghost anymore, per se. Maybe he's only partially a ghost. But again, that's just theorizing and whatnot. Let's move on to the next Morro. Next up here, we have the new Morro on the right compared to another Morro from 2015. This time, it's the exact same thing as the Morro that we just looked at, except this one has a cape. Hooray for capes and all of that good fancy stuff. But yeah, overall, nothing really to note here in terms of differences from the last Morro that we just talked about. It's literally the exact same thing, just with a cape this time. I will say the new Morro might have benefited from a cape, but at least he has this cool shoulder armor piece right up here, so you can't really complain too much about that in my opinion. Though the one with the cape does look a lot better. Morro never wore the cape in the show, so as cool as it might look here, can't really give it points for show accuracy. And again, as of the time of recording, we have not seen what Morro will look like in Dragons Rising Season 3, so this design might not be entirely show accurate, but as it stands, the cape isn't really notable here because, again, it's not really show accurate. Other than that, I have nothing to say about this particular variant of Morro. And finally here, we have a comparison that I think is actually pretty good. This is Morro, at least the new one from Dragons Rising, compared to the Possessed Lloyd or Morro minifigure from, again, 2015. It came in such sets as the City of Styx and the Attack of the Morro Dragons set. Technically not really a Morro, I guess you could say. This one is more of a Possessed Lloyd, but I figured if I did not include it in today's showcase, someone would be like, hey, where's that figure? So here it is. I do think this one's a little bit better of a comparison because, again, this guy uses a lot more dark green compared to the previous Morros, which this one uses a lot of dark green too. So kind of a similar color scheme here. This one also uses the sand green. Also, not to mention, this Morro does not have any transparent parts on him, making this comparison seem a lot more fair, dare I say. I will say in terms of printing, we can't really see much in terms of this guy, so why don't we go ahead and take some stuff off once again. So again, just removing the armor, the masks, all that good stuff. You can see that these two have the exact same skin tone, going for that kind of like pale ghostly green skin tone, but these two look very similar in terms of their face prints. Again, same skin tone, same effect around the eyes, same color of eyebrow. Obviously this one looks more like Lloyd, but it almost makes me feel like this is Morro, not really in a ghostly form, but maybe partially mortal, since that's what this Lloyd was all about too. But in terms of the printing, as you can see, I do like the new one's printing quite a bit, but the old one still has that classic Possessed Lloyd print that I do prefer. Also, the back printing of the new guy is cool, but I don't know if anything is going to beat that dark dragon from the older Morro. So, but I guess let's put some of the armor back on so we can make our final judgment here. And yeah, just overall to wrap up my thoughts here, I think this comparison is a little bit more fair. These two are very similar. In terms of which one I prefer, that's a hard question because this Morro design over here, in my opinion, is one of the best Ninjago minifigures probably ever made. I know for a lot of people they feel the same way. Not sure if this new Morro can come close to topping this one, so I might just give the edge to this guy just for the time being. I will say though, the new one is pretty good all things considered, and I am a really big fan of the design that Morro has in Dragons Rising Season 3. So with that being said, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. That has been my comparison between all of the Ninjago Morro minifigures that have been released so far, including the new one for 2025 for Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 3. Feel free to let me know down below in the comments which of these designs you think is the best, which Morro is the best Morro out of this selection right here, and what do you think about the new guy? Leave all of your thoughts down below. Does he stack up to the previous renditions of Morro? And are you excited to see Morro in Dragons Rising Season 3? Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed this one, feel free to like and subscribe. Do all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Peace.